Welcome to the Red V TV Instant Fan Reaction, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2020 season, as we reflect on Saints' demolition of the Huddersfield Giants, 54 points to 6 in round 11 of the Betfred Super League this evening. Kev, I'm going to say, and I'll start off by saying, that's the proudest I've been of the team this season. I thought we were absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, very good, very professional. That's it. You can only play what's in front of you. I want to give Huddersfield some praise as well, because I think they were game. They kept on going for it, and you could just see their inexperience and probably not that much sharpness did for them really in the end. But they kept trying to give it a go. And fair play to them for that, because they were missing a host of players. But yeah, you're right. It was a great performance by us. Some great offloads, some great handling, and some great tries.
Yeah, obviously, if we go back, obviously we were missing Tommy Makinson, Mark Percival, Theo Farge, James Roby, Zeb Tyre. We're essentially missing half our starting 13. But do you know what? Do they get the places back?
Well, that's it. I mean, yeah, they probably do, in all fairness. But your likes of Josh Sim, who's coming, your likes of Aaron Smith, who's coming, Jack Wellsby slotted into the halves, they've all had big games today. They've all done really, really well. There's not somebody on that pitch that you turn around and say, especially out of the starting 13, that you turn around and say, yeah, you're out of place there. Even off the subs bench, we had some great impacts. I thought Kyler Moore went really well. I know Louis kind of gave away the try when he got robbed of the ball. But there was still some good impact off the bench as well. Yeah,
and I think, for me, that's what's going to be most pleasing for Christian Wolff, because he's seen so many of the youngsters being forced into action this evening through various reasons: suspension, injury, COVID. He knows he can now rely on them. So whenever he needs to slot them in, that he can put them in that team and we're not going to miss a beat. And coming up to the business end of the season, where we're going to have midweek fixtures and hopefully a cup run, which will see us playing more often, we're going to have to use the rotation, and he's going to have the confidence now to be able to do that. Not that he probably didn't have it anyway, but you're not going to doubt putting players in that side, are you?
No, and it's good to get him that match sharpness, and show the likes of Josh Sim, who has played once for us before, kind of what it's like. It's another taste for him. Yeah, he might have been in and around the 21-man squad, but actually getting on the field and playing a full 80 minutes there, that would be great for him. And as I say, he didn't look out of place, did he? I thought he had a good game at centre. He was unlucky with the forward pass that could have led to his try. And you could see Liam Moore like smiling, because he almost knew that he'd done the young lad out of something. But it probably was the right decision, to be fair. And as you said, yeah, dropping Jack Wellsby into the halves as well. There's no qualms about doing that in future. Listen, he's not going to have a wow of a game every single time he plays. He's another young lad learning his trade, but it's good to see him in his actual position.
Yeah, and do you know what? When Jack Wellsby was announced in the team before the game, it was on the official Saints post, the amount of, I'll have to say, ill-informed, in my opinion, comments that were posted about why Dodd wasn't playing. Well, I think, obviously, if you'd seen the messages earlier in the day, which said there was non-playing members of the squad. There was obviously one member who's got COVID, and the other two were picked up on the track and trace. I think it was pretty obvious, given that Christian Wolff had been saying for so long how Lewis Dodd has been the 18th man every week, that when he wasn't going to be involved, that obviously that was going to be the reason why. And I almost feel that the club were essentially forced into putting Christian Wolff on camera before the game to explain, which they really shouldn't have had to do. Because obviously Lewis Dodd would have played tonight, but Jack Wellsby, in his own right, is going to be one of our future halfbacks. Obviously, Johnny Lomax, hitting 30 years of age today, isn't going to be there forever, but hopefully a few more years yet. But obviously, Jack Wellsby, Lewis Dodd, they are the future of this club, and the chance to get them game time is only going to serve us well in the future.
Yeah, I think putting Christian Wolf on video, kind of explaining it, is good in a way because it shows you're not hiding anything. It kind of gives fans that little bit more knowledge of the situation. But you're right, Wellesby is by trade a standoff, not a fullback. He's not a winger. He's not a centre. Yeah, he can play there, and I think fullback and halfback kind of are morphing into a very similar role to some extent. But you have a look at his gameplay. There was a couple of times when he was composed when there was a loose ball. Instead of just trying to fling the pass, he'd pick it up and bring it back inside and run it in a little bit. He put a nice little kick in early on that created a goal line dropout. His shirt drag on the massive Huddersfield winger, Young. Obviously, it stopped a very dangerous situation.
Do you know what? To be fair, Kev, that was Matty Costello.
No, it wasn't.
You on about the one going down the wing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
number 22.
I'm pretty sure it was Matty Costello. Let us know in the comments who's right and who's wrong.
It was number 22, Jack Wellesby, who got it. In fact, they corrected themselves on commentary later on. And then the try for Matty Costello. Where he plays that ball. And Costello's still got to finish that as well. But there were a couple of different kind of game times. Yeah, he might not have brought the line or put a ball out like we saw Johnny Lomax do to Regan Grace or James Roby did last week to Jack Wellesby. But I thought he had a good, solid game there. He did, again, someone who didn't do anything wrong. He'll be better for 80 minutes playing in his proper position.
Should we go to the tweets, Kev? See what's come in. If we can pull it up.
Please never use that phrase again. That's it. One thing before we get to the tweets as well that I didn't like from Saints was the completion rate. I mean, I'm taking my stats from Sky here, but it was 14 out of 22 sets completed in the first half and then 15 out of 20 in the second half. Against another team, against one of your big teams at the top end of the league, you might struggle if you do that. We've obviously got away with it tonight a little bit. That's my only criticism. There were a couple of errors and the completed sets could have been better. And that's me being ultra critical. Anyway,
does that not reflect on just the way we were potentially playing the game this evening?
Yeah, possibly so, but still, you want to be completing more than I think it was 69% it came out to. You want to be completing more than that, even if you are playing a high risk type of rugby. You still want to be completing more than 69%.
Okay.
In my opinion.
The tweets coming in. Matt was very impressed by the amount of points scored, especially with all the changes. Glad to see true domination after the Cass and KR wins, all gearing up for the cup game nicely. And he's right, Kev. Obviously, Warrington's on the horizon, and that is now what we're building up to.
Yeah, exactly right.
Ian Ayton, Coote is unreal.
Yep.
But then David Rigby does agree that we need a new goal kicker. How dare Lachlan Coote miss a kick?
I know it was. Well, he's been kicking him from the touchline, so I'm sure he'll be gutted that little run's over. But that's it. We've always we struggled for a goal kicker for a couple of years, getting someone who could kind of nail down that role. And obviously, since lockdown, Coote's only missed one, hasn't he?
Yeah, and Kev, as you may note, I have just watched the replay of the young Brit. Is it Young on the wing for Huddersfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have just watched it, and I can confirm that it was Jack Wellesby with his hand first. Costello mopped it up.
Yeah, Costello mopped it up, but the shirt drag on Young.
I tell you what, the lad on the wing, that Young for Huddersfield, he's a unit.
He is. Well, that's right. He's going to the NRL, isn't he?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. Yeah,
he's going down to the NRL. Forget which club it is. Somebody will tell us. Some reason I've got the Storm in my head, but that might be wrong. But yeah, he's at 6'6" for a winger. Listen, if he kicks on, imagine having someone like him running at you, even just down the wing. Let alone, we look at Alex Walmsley with his power, and he's on. You'd imagine at like being a teenager, he's only going to get better and better. It's a shame that he's leaving Super League, but you can understand why he's going to the NRL.
Yeah, you can see. What it makes you wonder if he was at a bigger club, would he still be on his way? Or tell you what, the NRL must have some scouting system to have picked him up already.
Yeah, yeah. Fair play to him for finding him.
Yeah, okay. Paul Caswell, considering the upper evil, the second half was good across the park, some quality performance, Coote as a player. Alison Leonard, professional performance. She feels a little bit for Huddersfield, but we owed them. I don't feel for them. I just thought we were nice.
No, I agree with Alison Leonard there because, as I say, their defence, they kept trying and they were game for it. They kept plugging away. They weren't good enough, obviously. A lot of upheaval there, but as I say, fair play for trying to stick at it for as long as they did.
John Kelly, completely right, foot on the throat and didn't let off. A good performance all round, but you're very impressed with the young lads. Wellesby, Sim, Costello and Smith, all outstanding. Do you know what? There's been a lot of talk about Matt Costello potentially leaving the club at the end of the season. I know he's rumoured to have signed for Salford for next year, but he's not looking out of place, is he? At all. No. I know in the past some didn't feel he was Saints standard and he wasn't quite what we needed. But you know what? He's solid, and he's not letting anybody down whenever he comes into the side. And I think he's actually getting much better by the game the more games he gets.
I think that's what happens when you start getting a run of games. I bet he'd like to stick in the centres or out on the wing, whichever, and play a good run of games there and kind of build up a head of steam. Well, that's it. His try still needed finishing tonight. As much as that pass from Wellesby was great, he still had to cut back inside and make it to the try line, and he did that brilliantly. Smith's getting mentioned a lot there. I've always said I want to see him kind of play on the front foot a little bit more. Well, our first try, yeah, he got a stroke of luck. But you know what? He took the ball on, realised it was the fit, and he's put a little attacking kick in. That's what you kind of want. You want smarts from all over the pitch, not just coming from your 1 or your 6 and 7. Him being able to do that already puts doubt in the defence's mind. Is he going to kick it? Is he going to run and pass? What's he going to do? Seeing him kind of step up and have to step up and have no... I know he went off for a HIA, but with no sub-hooker on the bench, he probably knew he was going to be doing 80 minutes for the first time in ages. And fair play to him, he had a good game for the time that he was on the pitch. And thankfully, he came back on as well after that assessment.
JD saying when the time comes, Jammer hanging up his boots, I think he could become a coach of Saints. He's coaching from the sidelines, yeah, you can hear him roaring away. And Jammer is a good Evertonian, as is JD, because that profile picture in the corner is of the 1985 League Winners' Trophy, the Cannon League Trophy, when Everton won the league. I've got that same photo with me being about 6 months old, with my dad holding me up just before I pushed the Cannon League Trophy over.
The glory days, eh?
We won it again 2 years later. But there you go. Good on JD. See, I like photos like that.
Okay.
But yeah, he's right about Jammer. Sorry. I've just got to get a little bit of Everton in there somewhere. Because we're on our way back. We're going to win the league next season. But we'll move swiftly on. Peter Elder, a very professional performance from the off. LMS's faux pas accepted. Do you know what? I'm not blaming LMS for that. He thought there was 2 in attendance, didn't he? He didn't realise somebody had peeled off. But it ruined the nil. So 100%.
Yeah, you can. And to be fair, he scored his try, made it up for it a bit later. The run and the ball from Bentley was fantastic, but he ran a good line as well. So he made up for that. I'll let him off that.
Okay. Oh, God, he's here again. Just in case he didn't get it on Twitter, he turns up on Facebook. But, yeah.
Hello, Peter.
Hi, Peter. Glad you're well. Dave Howard, versatile, dominant, top of the league. Adam Wright says Huddersfield who? And do you know what? Considering you wouldn't think that we got beat by them 12-10 at home before lockdown, would you?
No. It's a completely different game, completely different performance from us. Obviously more of a front foot performance and us dictating the game rather than letting them do it.
Ian Lowe. Kyle Amor was class tonight, yeah.
Yeah, agreed with that.
It was one really good offload, wasn't it? That set Wellesby away to put Costello in for the try.
Smith, then
David Rigby thinks you need the guitar out to match your singing voice. Brendan Neary, lots of changes, good effort all round, big rap to the kids. Andreas, champion sides don't lift the boot when they have it on the throat. And that's the thing. You always get the impression now that we're going to cut loose at some point, and once it... And I think you'll probably see that more, Kev, in these games where teams are backing up on a short week as well.
Yeah, that's it. It might start being a little bit of a leveler when you've got chopping and changing of teams, but still, I still back us in the last 20 minutes to blow a lot of teams away. And that's it. It's, as Brendan Neary says, there are lots of changes. The fact that we've done that and, as people are saying, kept the foot on the throat, listen, we'll continue to do that. It's only if it becomes like Huddersfield where they've got 15 out or whatever it is, that's when you might start struggling. But at the minute, you don't kind of see a danger of that. And David Rigby, as we said, I will play the guitar or something when we've won the double at the end of the season. And
do you know what, Kev? I need to stop being so conservative with these predictions of mine.
Same.
Yeah, do you know what? Andreas has put one there that we haven't really talked about. Aaron Smith tonight, before obviously went off with the head knock. You didn't notice James Roby was missing. And that is probably the biggest compliment that you can give Aaron Smith this evening.
Yeah, agreed. As I say, he looked lively, he looked bright. He played what was in front of him. A couple of times he took the run from dummy half rather than just standing and passing. It's a bit of maturity coming into his game. He's got the best teacher there at 9 in James Roby. So, listen, he's got all the tools to do it, to be a Super League starting 9. Hopefully he can go on and just get better and better.
And Steve, with the final word, considering the reshuffling, a fantastic result. One that puts the Stats to the top of the league. I just seen on the stats, Huddersfield made 800 metres, Saints made 1,800, which is a stat in itself, which puts us right back at the top of the table. And you haven't seen this yet, Kevin, but the classics are back.
Oh, no.
Hang on.
Thank God. Oh, no, you're going to put sound on it now, aren't you?
Is it gone?
You're going to try to.
Has it gone?
I don't know. It stopped, thankfully.
Oh.
Good.
I'm not having that.
Let's just point out that was filmed over 12 months ago as well.
Do you know
what? You'll have probably seen from the Red v Twitter.
As you can probably tell, the fact that I'm about a stone heavier now.
Yes.
Is the sound going to play? Are we going to get sound?
Hopefully not. Hopefully it just doesn't play at all. Them buttons are doing a lot of work on that shirt, aren't they? Doing some heavy lifting. Oh, well, never mind, Dave.
I hope that didn't pick up my missus's voice in the background then. Anyway.
Oh, no, I heard her.
We'll see if it's on the video. Oh, listen, if you've not seen it, it's currently trending on Twitter. Let's see what we've got. How many tweets have we got, Kev? You'll be glad to know it's got... Oh, it's only 4 retweets so far and 16 likes. I'm sure the 1,000 people who are going to watch this video at least will add to that.
That's enough. I'll delete it in a minute.
Oh, and on the Facebook...
I won't read it. I won't really. I'm not precious about that. Hey, that was a good night from what I remember.
Yeah. Which isn't a lot.
Leave that. Yeah, that was. I do remember that bit of it. It was just later on when we got to when I didn't quite make it. I needed your good support there, David. Anyway, back to the rugby.
Yeah, I think there's not much more to say after that, is there?
Good.
But good start to the weekend. Yeah, on to next week, Hull KR. We better mention it. Obviously, the COVID tests. Lewis Dodd was going to make his debut this evening. He must be absolutely devastated. I know his chance is going to come. It's something he'll talk about in years to come, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I think we're all gutted that we couldn't see him make his debut, because it'd have been interesting in seeing him in what has turned out to be an easy win for us. See what he could have done. But listen, Christian Wolf said after the game he'll get his chance in a couple of weeks. You know that's true, because we're not going to make Johnny Lomax play every game. Theo Farge obviously is missing with injury now. He might get a rest a little bit further on, and we will end up chopping and changing. There's with Dodd, they like him and they trust him, and he's been 18th man for a couple of weeks. They know that he can slot into that side. Hopefully, when he gets in there, he shows good reason why he shouldn't be back out of it.
Yeah, and obviously we've got that Warrington quarter final in a couple of weeks' time. Obviously, he's going to miss the game before that. I was going to say we've got a couple of easy games either side in Hull KR and Wigan.
Have we? Yeah, we've got one easy game because Hull KR are a tough team, as we saw the other week.
So you may as well throw them against Wigan. Headhunters are out, so there we go. Right.
On that note,
oh, I must mention our former media manager who contacted me to a little bit upset that I'd taken pot shots at him on the previous show. He claims he doesn't watch and he was informed by someone else. So whoever grassed us up, shame. No, he must watch it, really. So I'll bury that right at the end and see if he's still watching. Okay, right. Kev, thanks for joining us. Have a lovely, lovely weekend and get practice on that guitar, because the double is hopefully going to happen. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we will catch you next week for the Red V preview show. Thank you very much.